Hello to you all, fans of classic film and television, from me, Noel Cronin. I'm here with a personal selection from the many splendid films and shows coming up on Talking Pictures TV. If it's intrigue and scandal you want, along with some of the finest acting talent this country has produced, you have come to the right place. Over 350 actors have played Sherlock Holmes on film and television. One of the earliest stars to don the deerstalker on screen was classical actor Arthur Wantner, star of the 1935's The Triumph for Sherlock Holmes. This was in fact one of the 5 films in which he played Sherlock. In this story, he and Watson came out of retirement for one last case. And guess which well-known villain they came up against? It's Moriarty, of course. This is a great thriller, and Wantner is truly superb as Holmes. One contemporary critic said that Wantner's portrayal of Holmes was exactly as Conan Doyle himself would have wanted. He got the role because of his resemblance to Sidney Paget's illustrations of Holmes for the original stories in the Strand magazine. Starring alongside him are Lynn Harding, Jane Carr and Ian Fleming. Don't miss this fascinating entry into the canon of Sherlock Holmes films. One of the many actors to play Sherlock Holmes was the great Peter Cushing. His sometime co-star and Cellar Club hostess Caroline Munro introduces the first episode of documentary series The World of Hammer, narrated by Oliver Reed and not seen on television since first broadcast in 1994. The World of Hammer looks closely at the many elements that made the studio a major player in the British film industry. Episode 2 takes us into the world of Dracula and the undead. Expect more than one appearance by the other great star of Hammer, Christopher Lee. Later episodes will showcase some of the most surprising films made by Hammer, including comedies, prehistoric epics, and some really excellent war films. In the words of Caroline, don't be late. You won't want to miss The World of Hammer. One of the joys of the many classic TV series we bring you is seeing all those marvellous guest stars. Take Z-Cars, for example. Our upcoming episode, Pressure, from 1974, stars a very young Linda Bellingham, long before she was the Oxo Mum. Some of you may recognise the name of the director of Z-Cars episode, Priority. Julia Smith was a prolific writer, producer and director when there were relatively few women working as any of those. A decade later, she would go on to create EastEnders with Tony Holland, a true television pioneer. It's back to those guest stars now. Just how did the producers of Batman get all those top actors to play the villains? Burgess Meredith was a celebrated stage actor and director, in addition to appearing in many films, including Of Mice and Men in 1940 and Advise and Consent in 1962. He's probably best known now for portraying the Penguin in Batman, and he's clearly having a great time. Don't miss him facing off against the Caped Crusader. For a guest star of a very different kind, tune in to one of my favourite series, Enemy at the Door. None other than Martin Jarvis makes an appearance as a Swedish journalist, observing life on Jersey under the Nazi occupation. Thanks to all of you who write to me and to Talking Pictures TV each week. You're an observant bunch, to be sure. Graham Buck has written in with an excellent question on something he's spotted whilst watching the channel. Hello, Noel. As a fan of the best channel available, I wonder if you can answer a little point on films for me. Why is it that actors appear in some films but are uncredited for the part they play? Best wishes, Graham Buck from Sussex. Either the part was so small that quite often small parts didn't merit credit. I don't think you could do that now, but that was the main reason. So 1 or 2 times it was sheer error. that someone just forgot to give certain actors a credit. But by and large, it was because it was such a small part, it was uncredited. And maybe just some actors would have not wanted to be reminded they were in that film. Who knows? For my final choice for you today, I bring you some scandal, lots of scandal in fact. Perhaps think of the Victorian era as a time of good manners and proper behaviour. But our new series, Victorian Scandals, made in 1976, dramatises some of the most shocking events of that period. We begin with the frontiers of science, which stars Twiggy as medium Florence Cook. Thought by many to be a fraud, she had a prominent support in Sir William Crookes, one of the country's most eminent scientists, played here by Ronald Hines. The Portland Million stars Patricia Hayes as Annie Druce, who claimed her late father-in-law was the Duke of Portland, and set in motion a court case that went on for years. The case centred on whether the Duke was leading a double life as a furniture retailer. Co-stars in this episode include Raymond Huntley and a young Nigel Havers. It's a perfect series for those autumn evenings. And before I get 1,000 letters to say why are we only showing 3 episodes, there were contractual reasons, legal and otherwise, that the only 3 episodes are available. But we thought we'd bring you these rather than not at all. Of course, there's all this and much more coming up on Talking Pictures TV over the next 2 weeks. So make sure you've made a note of all your favourites. For the full Talking Pictures TV schedule, don't forget to subscribe to our free weekly newsletter, which drops into your inbox every Sunday at noon. Tell your friends about it too. If you'd like to write to me, you can get in touch via email at noel@talkingpicturestv.co.uk. If you prefer to put pen to paper, the address to write to is Talking Pictures TV, P.O. Box 592, Kings Langley, Hertfordshire, WD4 4DB. So do catch that Sherlock Holmes. Peter Cushing did say that Arthur Watner was his inspiration to his own portrayal of Sherlock Holmes. So do join me again next time I look at what's on Talking Pictures TV.